the truce has come into effect over the weekend, and that means that Israel will now find ways, and it's already doing it, find ways of undermining that very truce and seeing how far they can push it, knowing that the world is exhausted and the world will put disproportionate pressure on Hamas to honour the agreement while they don't. And look, we've seen this before. We saw that with Lebanon, we saw that in Iran, we've seen that after the Oslo Accords, we've seen it time and time again. Israel makes an agreement, the world is exhausted by what's happening, and then Israel breaks that agreement. And the reason is because Israel can break the agreement, so it does. There's no consequences for it, yet the pressure is always put on the side that's always been attacked by Israel. So now we're going to start looking at what do we need to do in the long run to make sure that this movement continues. I'm not talking about the hardest of hardcore. Those guys and girls will carry on doing what they're going to be doing to fight for justice for Palestinians. But the millions that have woken up since then, what do they need to do, especially the ones that were motivated enough to have actually made their voices heard? One thing is that we need to look at institutions, not just our elected institutions and our civil service, so the government institutions, but also the institutions that can take on the Israeli Hasbara. So the Israeli Hasbara, they're activists within the Western world. Well, we've created our own Hasbara. The difference is ours isn't coordinated and ours isn't institutionalized. So if we're looking at our institutions and how do we make a constant effort to de-Zionize our societies and get rid of them, and say, no, if you're Jewish, you're part of our society. If you're a Zionist, you've got no part of our society. You cannot have any outside influence or outsized influence when it comes to foreign policy or even domestic policy. But we're not going to be able to do that as individuals fighting individual wars. It has to be an institutional effort. And so that means we now need to start looking at the groups that we're in. Whether it's a group of friends, associates, a community group that have worked together for Palestine, a medical association, whether it's your mosques, your churches, your synagogues, your non-profit organisations, it doesn't matter. But you have to organise as an institution to be able to take on institutions. And that includes, and it's boring, 3, 4, 5 years out to the next elections. It matters if we engage now for the result then. And it also matters that how do we de-radicalise or de-Zionize our media so we can get fair and balanced coverage rather than the skewed reports that we've been seeing from the mainstream media, which we've all seen over the last 2 years. Zionism has been exposed, but what we haven't done and what we now need to do is institutionalise a way forward. It's boring, it's long term, but it's ultimately successful.